Warriors. Thank you for your patience. I am here. I am so sorry to be late. I said the other day I was going to quit announcing what time I would come on so that I could quit apologizing for being late. So I lied. I'm sorry. I try not to do that. But I do want to not be apologizing for being late, although I definitely don't like to hold you guys up. I just think it's silly. And so, yeah, I was going to stop setting a time and just come on when I come on, do my surprise lives like I'd been doing for a while. So, how are you guys? Annie Ruler says, yes. Unravel says, YouTube is messed up, right? And suggesting not do lives because messing them up. What? I have no idea what you're referring to, my dear. Annie Ruler seems like it. So that was just me being late. Webcam to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Yes. So Bex and day by day, good afternoon. I see you say good morning. It is about 1:21 here, Tuesday. I think it's the 28th of November. And I want to get right to it because I'm certainly not doing no bait and switch like, oh, I found something. Guess what it was? Not telling. So it's crazy. And I just want to spit it out. But first, I do need to do my little routine. Please hit that thumbs up button and share, make sure you're still subscribed, turn on your notification bell if you like to be notified when I'm coming on live or dropping a video. Everything I say is simply my opinion. So I think I found something super freaking fascinating. And what I say is simply to open up a discussion and to try to learn something, to hopefully be educational for myself as well as others. All videos that I've made to date have been for the YouTube, which is an entertainment platform. So let's get right to it. Are you guys interested? I'm interested. So I was just digging and looking in all directions last night, and I came upon this thing that said that the president of the University of Idaho is a billionaire. That's my thing that I put my title about. So I was like, what? Billionaire? A president of a university is a billionaire. Scott Green. Kumar Scott Green. So I wanted to make sure I had the right Scott Green. So up until about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, he was a businessman in New York City. He graduated with a master's degree from Harvard. And since he started, I think he started somewhere about 2019 at the University of Idaho. So it was his first job in academia, and he is one of the few university presidents that doesn't have a doctoral degree. And that's fine, I mean, it's always good to have flexibility with your rules, right? But so he doesn't have either the doctoral degree or the academia background, but he's a businessman. So the material that I found says that he's worth like close to $3 billion right now, you guys. And when he started around 2019, he was under $2 billion. And I'll see if I can put a link in the description to that website where I found that, because not all websites are accurate. Let's admit it, sometimes it's a pile of malarkey. I won't even tell you what I found about Kiely Rodney last night, but now I have to since I said that. It was ridiculous. Anyway, so I looked up, like, who's the most wealthiest man in Idaho? Is it the president of the university? And no, it's a different guy, but not by much. So I thought, that is so weird. Like, no wonder the Chief Fry looks at him like he's his boss, because he pretty much owns everything, right? I mean, that to me is bizarre. Really bizarre. So then, of course, I had to Google net worth of Zuckerberg, which is only, like 120 billion almost. I didn't get around to Googling Gates. I figured that's in the trillions, the gazillions. But yeah, I remember when I had looked at Harpo back with the whole Maui fire thing, and she was right around 3 billion as well, I think. So to think that the president of the university, if I'm remembering right, it was like 2.79 billion right now, and it was about 1.7 billion in 2019. I was trying to find other stuff. This is why it is interesting to do your research, because you find things that you had no idea you were looking for. I was trying to find like the federal endowment funding for the university each year, which I think is less than a billion, but much more than 500,000. Anyway, let's say hello to my people some more. Hey, Mark Molina, I just watched your live. I don't know if that was from today or yesterday, but I just finished it as I was getting ready here. So, Bex, Annie, day by day, turn on your lifting cams to, what? Is my lighting bad? Oh no. Wow. Turn on your something cams. Let me try to mess with stuff. You know me, I am very afraid to mess with stuff. But yeah, my screen is really dark. It is plugged in. And I am just going to tilt things ever so slightly and hopefully not knock everything over. Because as you can see, I still have the freaking cell phone. I'm trying to just be grateful for what I have and, not freak out that I don't have my freaking laptop back. But seriously, like, I feel like Best Buy, there's a bunch of scam artists, they sell me the super expensive computer and then they sell me the super expensive insurance to go with it. And then when it needs something, they say, well, you're going to have to be without it for 2 weeks. So I'm like, fine, I don't need anything then. So, it got to a point where I really needed to take it in. And it's been 4 weeks, you guys. Like, I think, the end of this week will make it 4 weeks. Like, screw that. I did get a $200 gift card out of the deal because they made me go in there on Black Friday. What? Anyway, enough about my problems. How are you guys doing today? Is the lighting better? Yesterday, and thank you, lighting is hard, fine. My glasses, I did clean them too. Stupid glasses. Ring cams at home security. No lighting is fine. No lighting is fine, it says, but I think you meant lighting is fine. Yeah, the ring cams at home security, they sent it to India. Yeah, they did. They did, Mark. I'm serious. Anyway. So let's stay focused. I really liked yesterday how I only focused on 2 cases because I've been spreading myself so thin talking about this case and that case and the other case. And as much as I'm super interested in all these cases, and I'm really interested in all the things that I have to say, I don't know that you guys are, but I do find value in staying more focused. So yesterday, I pretty much only spoke about Idaho 4 and Kiely Rodney, and I really liked that. So I wanted to try to do that maybe sort of like as a series of comparing the 2 cases, because there are so many things. Something that I also stumbled upon last night that I wasn't even really thinking about, it's kind of come into my mind here and there, but it hasn't really solidified, is that Idaho has a big skiing industry. Like, that's one of the other big industries in the state. And Tahoe, big ski industry. So I thought, well, that's interesting, isn't it? And I know that it's hard when your main source of income is weather dependent, because you might have a good year for snow, you might have a bad year for snow. But also, there's a lot of wealth in Idaho. Obviously, there's a lot of wealth in Tahoe, like above and beyond comprehension. But there's a very established wealth in the state of Idaho. So I was surprised to see that there was only one person that I could find who had slightly over $3 billion, according to the websites that I was looking at. And I just thought it was really wild that not only that the president of the university is a billionaire, but that his net worth has increased by about $1 billion, like basically 50%. So he's like, he went from under 2 billion to just under 3 billion in 4 years. I find that astounding. Like, how you're making all that money? The position that he's in, I think the information that I looked at said that he's getting paid about $400,000 a year to be the president of the university. I compared that to Harvard president, which is closer to 2 million a year. So I'm sure there's a wide variance. But also, because he hasn't been a university professor before, I did also find out that when he was trying to get that position, that he was up against 3 other candidates that all had doctoral degrees and all had work histories in academia, such as like deans and provosts and that type of thing. So I thought, wow, pretty wild that he was selected over those other people, and that the school had been going through some rough times for about 10 years, it looked like, when he came on about 5 years ago. Never mind. LOL. Bad testing. Sorry that the glare on my glasses is bad, even though I literally just cleaned them. I was like, I don't need to clean them in front of you guys. I can clean them before I start. But I think that it's like the afternoon lighting. Mark and other content creators, the lighting is so rough. Like this is one of the reasons why I try to get on early in the day, is because the morning lighting, the ambient lighting is better. My brain is better. And just things happen. So if I try to get on early in the day, like today, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I was shooting for like 9 o'clock, I think, was the first time that I set. And then I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I set it for somewhere around like 12:30. I don't know. And then had to keep pushing it back because of previous engagements and commitments. So let's see. Being the fall guy for university, I'm not sure what that is saying. Let's see. Think about all of the partying cost and where it's coming from, and what don't we see in the so-called fun parties. And after these same looking bombshell gifts, girl turned up where they are going. Remember N. Oh, I'm a little confused by all of that. Remember the big bust of North Carolina University, and wasn't Pittsburgh FBI agency involved in Idaho 4 investigation? Well, the Pittsburgh, obviously, they followed the criminal defendant to Pennsylvania. I don't think that the area he's from is by Pittsburgh. I think it's closer to Philadelphia, but I could be wrong there. So yeah, Pennsylvania FBI, that would make sense. Lighting is important. Any photographer lights are So high prices. Yeah, and I have all these good lights, but the cell phone is really bad for a lot of things. The lighting, the angle, the sound. I hope the sound's all right. The laptop is just magnificent. And, I got a very high-end gaming laptop so that I could grow into it, was what I was thinking, was that it would help me progress in my technological challenges, of which I have many. I said it again and again, it's a miracle that I even have a YouTube channel, but also it's a miracle that I have viewers. So thanks, you guys. And I was also surprised. My video from yesterday had like 1,000 views last time I checked. It was getting close to 1,000, which was great because a year ago, all my videos were like in the thousands. And then I don't know if I got really bad at making videos or if I just got shadow banned really bad or both. But, it's like in the hundreds, and that's fine. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's nice to not feel like I have a whole lot of pressure. It's nice to have these like small, intimate conversations. But I do want to make sure that my channel is here to stay and that it's strong. So, the whole thing with shadow banning is that they start taking your subs away. And if your subs don't notice and resub, then that's a problem. And, typically your channel's gonna just grow naturally over time, right, Mark? In theory. But when you're covering the case in Truckee, the people that are involved in the case in Truckee literally, what was the phrase that I found last night? Financial legend, I think, was the phrase that I found for the Hamburglar. I was trying to find those folks' net worth and ran across an article about this financial legend and some big fat trouble that he got in about 10 years ago, where he was like banned from Wall Street for dicking around and trying to smuggle $20 million under the radar of like the tax authority or something. I mean, these people, man, they will get away with everything that they can. Let's see. Good afternoon. Sorry that my glasses are so glary. Hey, Jazz. And I maybe should just give up on trying to read all this stuff. Nope, depends on if you're good at content. And I am not, Mark. You are good at content. Yeah, you actually are, because you have real content, you have real information. There's a lot of freaking bells and whistles on YouTube, and there's a lot of just regurgitated, rehashed crapola, which I don't have time for. I have a very busy and active life and family life and work. I don't have time for the YouTube that is my top priority, which is you guys, but I squeeze it in. And, I try to squeeze in as much content of other high quality creators that I can. And unfortunately, a lot of content is garbage, in my opinion. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just keeping it real. There are a few channels that I feel like are like super sincere and keep their material fresh all the time, even when it's rehashed material, because it is important to go over old stuff. So I've told you guys some of my favorite channels. Like one of them consistently ever since I started my own channel has been that 1111 Tarot with Mama D. Like she just is really humble and she's just herself. I am sick and tired of people trying to be all fancy and being all cutthroat and trying to, make themselves look better than their peers. We're all going to have good days. We're all going to have bad days. We're all going to have good videos. We're all going to have bad videos. To me, it's about authenticity and being genuine. And that's what I try to bring every freaking day. So, I like to have fun with the lights and the colors and the jewelry. I am doing a jewelry giveaway today, speaking of which. So let me show you guys the black beaded earrings. They're very simple and basic, and they're just jet black. Can you see them? So there's seed beads and long beads and some brass beads in there. They're about 2 inches long. So when I'm done with this video, the first person in the comment section, sorry for the dog barking if you guys can hear that. Sometimes the noise canceling nails it, sometimes not. The black earrings to the first person in the comment section when I am finished with this video, and it goes from chat, it goes to comments. So good luck to everybody who's interested in winning. And my last winner, I still haven't heard from. So I am gonna hold on to the necklace and earrings for that person. I don't have their name right in front of me, but they should know who they are. I think it was like 10 days ago. Anyway, if you won and you haven't received your thing, you need to send me an email. My email is justiceatooz@gmail.com. So, hello. It's me, Billied. Huh? If it's the reading of these words is so hard right now. I don't know why. There's extra glare. Like I said, it might just be the afternoon lighting. So, yeah, the situation with the president of the university being so freaking wealthy and growing his wealth as a president of a university has me very curious about his investments, basically, his investment portfolio. Like, it's pretty fascinating. So he went from, I think, basically managing law offices in New York City. He wasn't a lawyer, but he was working in law offices. And then he got hired in the town that he grew up in and at the college that he graduated from. And you guys were confirming yesterday in my live that his parents owned the house 1122 Queen or King Road or Street. And that to me is extremely suspicious. And then the vehicles, like, why were the vehicles left in front of the residence for so long? Why were those vehicles not processed as potential evidence? That is so beyond suspicious. Like, that basically tells me that this whole freaking thing is a sham. Those vehicles would be major sources of information for many, many reasons. Of course, the things in them and the fingerprints in them, but also your digital information, like what time were they last driven, and where did they go, and where were they driving, like for the full day before this happened. Because remember, your timeline, not only of when the tragedy happened, but the things leading up to it, that's going to point you in the right direction of who, what, where, when, and why. Like, the cars just sat there for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they got towed to Scott's house a few doors down to his current house from his old house where he grew up. Am I hallucinating? Like, this is insane, you guys. This case is seriously twisted. I just don't even know where to go from there. And I wish I could read your comments. You guys are the bomb. Let me keep trying. Hey, Terry Barker. Hey, Susan Dodge. And so some of them I can read and some of them not so much. Hello, Jazz and crew. Is that Sunflower Dragon? Yes, it is. Cover up starting with camera being down at university night of unaliving. Right, the server was down, Sherry. Thank you for going back to that, because that is beyond relevant. So the server was down somewhere between 11:30 at night on November 12th until 6:30 in the morning on November 13th. And it was Nerdy Addict who first discovered that and put that on YouTube. And he phoned up the feds and told them what his expertise was and what he thought he found. And we've never really heard anything about it from the authorities, have we? I mean, that doesn't make much sense to me. But there's a lot in this case that doesn't make much sense. Pretty much everything. I remember the day that I heard about it, and the first thing I thought is that doesn't make any sense. Like 4 students slaughtered in their on-campus, off-campus housing. I mean, I know it's like, a few feet off campus, but it's essentially in the middle of campus, you guys. But they do like to always point out that it's off campus, to put it off of the university. And yes, the university is the bread and butter of the entire city of Moscow, to my understanding. There's very little else as an industry. So everything is about either being a student, working there, or serving the students and the employees of the university. So yeah, they have to keep themselves viable. They have to keep that financial resource. They have to keep it sustainable. And at the same time, they need to solve crimes. And crimes like this simply don't happen, you guys. I mean, my first thought, and I have shared this with my viewers several times, my first thought is there's no way that that could happen in an area that highly and densely populated on a Saturday night without, how do I phrase this without sounding too accusatory? This is simply my opinion. Without law enforcement giving a green light before it happened, in my opinion. So that was my very first thought, is this is bizarre, and there's just no way that this happened without authorities given the nod and the wink. And then the whole thing with the freaking 8 hours, like, do we need to go over that a million times? Because people don't understand that that's just not okay. And what's even more not okay, in my opinion, is the aftermath. Like, yeah, sometimes people don't call 911 right away for a lot of different reasons. But then when they do call 911, the emergency response is usually rapid. Like, that's the whole thing with being a first responder, is like trying to get there in under 2 minutes, not 4 hours. And if there's things that are getting in your way of getting there for 4 hours, then someone else can take the lead until you get there, if you're the lead, in my opinion. So it's just so infuriating. And then this new information, you guys, the whole thing with Bethany being engaged allegedly. I know there's a few channels that have been talking about that. There was allegedly a TikTok post that she put up, or her fiance put up. But is that just a red herring? Is that just a distraction? Are they actually engaged? I mean, it does seem odd a year after being in a home where a handful of your friends are slaughtered. It seems odd to be planning a wedding 12 months later. That's just me. Maybe I'm judgmental. Thanks, CBI. Appreciated on Kiely. Oh my goodness. Too many questions not answered. Yeah. Yeah. So Mark says, Sherry, a great 1000%. Law enforcement had no problems being at their house. But on that night, hey, good point. Um, but on that night, nowhere to be found. Okay, Sherry, that is a magnificent point. I'm so glad that I struggled through reading those blurry letters. That is such a magnificent way to communicate about that. So yeah, they were there at that house every other freaking night of the week, even when they weren't being called with a noise complaint, even when it wasn't hours of noise complaint, you guys. Like that one knock call where they went to the back door and Kaylee's in the sausage dress, I like to call it. And then Hunter's got the zip ties on his wrist, and Blaker says, "Oh, no access to the stairs, no stairs to access the balcony or whatever." That call was like, I think it was about 6 p.m., which you can't even have a noise complaint at that time of day, in my understanding. I mean, maybe, but not really. It's a college town, and it's a Saturday, and noise complaints typically don't really get addressed until after hours, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. That doesn't make sense at all. I mean, we know that that wasn't a noise complaint to 1122 King or Queen Road, but that they say that they did have a noise complaint across the street at Jack D's house at 1127, I think is that address, if I'm remembering right, on King Road. So why would the law enforcement take a noise complaint at 6 p.m.? Like, sure, people might call 911 or the back line, the non-emergency number, and complain about noise, but law enforcement typically is going to be like, it's 6 o'clock, like it's dinner time. Like if they're still noisy at bedtime, we'll come out and talk to them. But it is extremely unusual for law enforcement to even respond like that. Let's see. Law enforcement had no problems. Okay, I already read that one. Okay, you guys, my brain is just fried with all of the blurriness, trying to read your comments and trying to stay focused, and noises in the background that are distracting me. So where are we at? We are just at about half an hour. Maybe I should keep this one short and sweet, and then focus on my next video with more earth-shattering discoveries. I mean, I don't know if it really is earth-shattering, but to me it was. The whole thing with President being a billionaire. And then the whole thing with Zuckerberg, like, did he or did he not search for Kiely Rodni? I remember that he did search for Kiely Rodni, that he even like signed in. And right away I thought, wouldn't that be a security risk? Like if you're a billionaire, don't you try to like not go out in public as much as possible unless you have security guards around you? I mean, seriously. It's something to think about. So I started to tell you guys, and then I didn't, and I wanted to share. I don't like to yank your chain like that. Oh, and there was that thing about Stacy Chapin that I also needed to finish my thought from yesterday. So the first thing is about Kiely. I found a website last night that said that the hunt is still on for Kiely Rodni. It said that she disappeared August 6th of 2022 and that she's yet to be found. And this was dated October of 2023. And it used the word hunt, the hunt for Kiely Rodni. And again, I will try to put the link to that in the description. I took a screenshot of it. I don't know, if I can't put a link to it into the description, I will put that screenshot in a community post so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because I was just like, what the F are they talking about? Like, I know the internet is full of whack crap, but I was just like, and the fact that they used the word hunt, that really bothered me. So yesterday, I was talking about Stacy Chapin, Ethan's mom, and how when she went to pick up her other children the day that they found out that Ethan was no longer of this earth, and she said in her interview that her first thought was that she was not going to allow this situation to break their family. That was her focus, is that this is not going to break us. And it struck me as odd. And again, I don't mean to sound judgmental as far as like, yeah, you don't know how you're going to respond in a situation like that. But holy smokes, man, like you're going to be broken. Yeah, you're going to be broken. Like that is the most destructive thing imaginable. You're going to be resilient. You're going to get through it somehow. But it, to me, almost sounded like, this is me reading into it. It's like she felt like somebody was making an attack on her family, that somebody was trying to break her family, and that she wasn't going to let that happen. So I don't know. I want to share a little story with you. Somebody that I know in real life who lost a child in a car accident years ago. And at some point years later, I said to them, I just don't know how you can go on after losing a child like that. And they said, yeah, I don't know either. But you do. You just do. And I thought that was the most brilliant wisdom I could imagine, given the context of what we're having a conversation about. I just found it so endearing and so touching and so meaningful. So I wanted to share that with you guys. When something happens like that, you will persevere, you will go on, but you're going to be broken. I mean, come on. Like, and it's okay to be broken. It's absolutely okay to be broken when something like that happens. Are you kidding me? You like you're supposed to be. I mean, it just really struck me as odd, and I would think for anybody who's watched that interview, that that 1 year follow up, and again, I'll try to put a link to that in the description of this in case you haven't seen it yet. It's a really peculiar interview. It's really peculiar. There was a channel. I'm so glad I thought of this. Is it, what is the name of his channel? Is it Innocent Until Proven Guilty or something like that? He did a really good reaction to the Chapin parent interview, and I'm so sorry I'm forgetting the name of his channel. He's great. He's a really good channel. And I want to say it's Innocent Until. Is that right? Again, it drives me nuts when I don't have stuff written down and I'm talking about things that I can't remember. So on that, let me just check in with you guys again before I wrap up. And please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. Make sure that you're still subscribed. Share the video. Turn on your notification bell to ring. And my apologies for not being able to read so well and for getting distracted by the noises in the background. I don't know if they distracted you guys, but they distracted me. Okay, so that helps a little bit. Hello, Mark in chat. Mom first, always. I never heard of him searching. Locals would have been blabbing on that. And a good friend works for um, is that like the rescue squad or something? Annie Ruler says, "Hola, hey CB and Annie, thanks for coming in. Not sure, LOL either. Prayers for laptop. Uh, yes, laptop healing. Um, Innocent Until, I think, is the name of the channel. Again, like I said, I will definitely put a link to his video in the description here since I'm not 100% sure what his channel is called. But he did a really good job of kind of breaking down. And the thing that I was going to say is that what he pointed out was how focused Stacy, Ethan's mother, Stacy, was on herself. As she was talking about the family, she kept referring to I and referring to herself as mom. And it was sort of all about her, but she was trying to make it sound like it was all about the family. And the dad's sitting right there, and he hardly says anything at all. And it's just really interesting. Also, if you remember, Bubbly Waters did a slowed down version of Oppressor that the Chapins gave a year ago on campus at, it was really weird. So Bubbly Waters slowed down the video. And again, it was Stacy Chapin doing pretty much all of the talking, and her and Maisie were like watching people walk by, and it was all the key players. It was like the lead investigator, it was the surviving witnesses, but there were like these big FBI looking guys who like got in the way when Bethany and Dylan walked by, like they were trying to block the camera's view of seeing the girls. It was bizarre. I will put the link to that in here too, because my whole point is that I really think something is up. I know a lot of people are suspicious about what is going on with all of that. You know, obviously the parents of Xana and Maddie were in trouble with the law for substances and arrests, history of being arrested for possession and distribution. And then you have Kiely and Ethan's families that doesn't look like they're involved with anything like that, but they are kind of more upper middle class, basically, kind of classist kind of thing. So you've got the two that are children of people that have been in trouble with the law and substance abuse, and then you've got the two clean ones relative to having that kind of legal trouble. And it's just really suspicious, like retribution, revenge, a message. There was a double quadruple unaliving here in Ohio a few years ago that looked like it was surrounding distribution of substances. And then there was like a whole whitewashing where they tried to say that these 8 people were executed over a custody battle. And I mentioned it once in one of my videos, and somebody came into the chat immediately because I mentioned the name of the town and the county. All you need to do is Google like 8 executed and you'll find it. But they immediately jumped into the chat, somebody that we've never seen before, and they said, "Oh, I'm from that area," and no, it was a custody battle. It was like, okay, there's like 12 people from that area total, and one of them just happens to be in my random chat. I don't think so. That was weird. But now it's becoming more apparent. They tried to cover it up and make it look like a freaking custody battle, like 8 people. I don't think so. 8 people, you guys. That's crazy. When you've got these massive casualty events, mass casualty events as they're technically called, that's not just custody battle. That's not just some vegetarian, vegan, incel gone wacko. Like, that is pure fantasy. That is pure fantasy. The powers that be don't want people to know about these dealings because these dealings are a big industry. They're big business. So how do you grow $1.69 into $2.7 billion in 48 months? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a really good day. I hope that you can be kind to yourself, be kind to other people, take care of yourself, be very caring to the people around you. Drink your water, eat your protein, get your exercise, sunshine, fresh air, rest. What else? Did I miss anything? Staying safe and just, being the light that you feel like you need to see more of in the world. Like you can be that light for yourself and for other people. So sending you light, sending you love, and thanks again, you guys. I just am so humbled by your company. So thank you, sending you much love and light. See you soon.